Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our weekly women's volleyball press conference with head coach Tyler Hildebrand. We'll start the press conference with an opening statement from Coach Tyler, then we'll open it up to questions from the media.
Thanks, Lindy. It was a good week. We got 2 wins. Proud of the girls for how we responded after a couple weeks of not playing how we wanted to. So it was a really good winning at Santa Barbara. They're a really good team. And, we knew Northridge was going to come out strong. They did against Cal Poly, a number of other matches, and they did. And we were pretty resilient to come back and do the reverse sweep. So proud of that. One of the things that we talk about a lot, but I don't know, there's that song by Queen, I Want It All, I Want It Now, I Want It Now. I think it's Queen. Anyway, and, we kind of wanted that this year. And, I think some things are taking some time. And so I'm really proud of our staff and our girls that, they're grinding and we're getting better at some things. And really proud of, Katie Kennedy. I guess we didn't know she had a career high against Fullerton of 17 kills, which is surprising to me that was her high. And then I think she had 24 the other night, or 23. And so it's a big deal for Katie to get going like that. And Morgan had 43 kills on the weekend, hit over 300 again. So I think on your press release, Lindy, there was like 5 career highs on Saturday. So that's to wrap all what I just said is, we have 5 career highs in a 5-7 match. That means that these girls haven't played that much at that level together, whatever the case may be. So we want it all, we want it now, but some things are taking time. And so proud of the girls for the week that they put together. And we got 2 really tough matches this week. So we're getting ready for Irvine and San Diego.
Questions?
All right, Coach. Obviously, you had those 2 big wins, but what's it going to take to make sure you don't get too high on those wins? And if you do have them, what's it going to take to make sure you don't get too low on the losses?
Yeah, good question. That's kind of the secret of sports there. I don't think there's any definitive answer on that question. It might depend on each team, how they act, or how their dynamics are. But for us, we're not going to get too high because, our back's against the wall. I mean, we still think, we think we're capable of beating the teams in our conference, and we got to focus on that and winning as many games as possible. So, our back's against the wall in terms of trying to finish as well as we can in this conference. So we're certainly not going to be too high after a reverse sweep and a gutsy win against Santa Barbara. But I think the second part of your question is good, is how do we stay from getting too low if we don't play a match that we like? So as of right now, we're taking it day by day, and we're well aware that we have to play as well as we can to win matches. And when we play well, we're hitting 300, 400, shutting teams down, serving great, passing great. We can attack teams with a lot of different skills. We're not just big or good at offense or we're good at everything when we're good. And when we're not rolling on all cylinders, we're not very good. So, I think for us, it's about trying to put it all together and continue to find ways to play better when we're playing, when we're rolling.
This weekend's going to be 2 teams that may have different ways of winning a volleyball match. You got UC San Diego that has pretty good floor defense. One of their liberos is one of the better ones in the Big West Conference. And then you have Onyefogu on UC Irvine. Everything runs through their middle. How hard can it be to adjust from night to night with teams that can be so almost polar opposites?
Well, sometimes they can present challenges on back-to-back nights, which is what we have, especially when we have to travel down to San Diego. So that's also cutting into time where if it was home, we could potentially watch video after the match. So we'll probably do a little bit of Irvine tomorrow, just to sprinkle it in so that when we do serve and pass Saturday morning, it's not the first time we've seen some of the things that Irvine does, including their middle. So we'll do a little bit of them on tomorrow, and that's one of the ways that we'll try to ease that adjustment. But like I just said there, I think a lot of it is on our side of the net. I know Coach said a lot, but really, we're a really good passing team. We've proven that first couple weeks season, we weren't passing that good. And I was like, shoot, I thought we were going to be really good at the passing. And, but we are. I mean, we've been passing really, we've outpassed everybody we've played for a while now. So that allows it to be in our hands a little bit, which means it's up to our offense to score and up to cover and do all those things. So that's a big focus. When we hit over 300, we're winning every set that we do that in. So we're trying to focus on us a lot, try not to overcomplicate, what the other team does. But that's the way we'll attack it. Anytime we have back-to-back with a road and a home or road, that's how we'll have to do it. But yeah, it can present challenges. But as I've said before, we're not playing a video game with a scouting report like press A when this happens, press B. So our girls trained to be able to adjust on the fly. So anyway, sometimes that takes a little while to get into what another team's doing, but we think that's better to give them the power than it is to have a scouting report that doesn't work or isn't right or completely different from night to night, and then they're in their heads the whole time. So I guess that's how we'll attack it.
I know you're not one on like singling out players or giving them shouts, but Savannah Chacon came in and was able to produce double-digit digs on those nights against Santa Barbara and Northridge. What can you say about Savannah and how she's come quite a long way from producing numbers like that, not just as a serving specialist, but as a defensive specialist?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Savannah up. No one works harder than Savannah. We stood in the press conference the other night. She's asking for extra reps all the time. And I'm like, well, we can't do it. You can do it on your own. And she's getting, she's in the gym whenever. I don't even know when she's in the gym because we're not allowed to know. But she gets in and she's always trying to find extra time to serve. But she made a big improvement in defense, which is, to your question, really just in the last week. A lot of our players came or are used to, especially in girls juniors volleyball, they're used to very, very rigid rules. You stand here when this happens, your foot has to be like this, you have to make that type of floor move, setting, you have to do all this. And so now that doesn't mean that's right or wrong, and I'm not here to say whether it's right or wrong, but we do have a different system than that. We want our women to be freed up to make more plays, and sometimes that takes some time. And Savannah came from a very good, I have a lot of respect. I know Dave and John and their staff really well at Purdue. They're a great floor defensive team, but they have some they have a lot of rules that we just don't have here. And so I think for her, it's been a learning curve of how to balance that freedom with not being kind of all over the place. And she did a really good job of that in training all week. And then I think it manifested in the match. But we're really proud of Savannah. She works really hard, and she wanted to come here and have an opportunity to get on the court and be a part of a team. And she's one of our leader, one of our captains, and so we're really proud of the work she's putting in. And so she had a good week.
Maybe to single out another player, Xena Ynomeyer with the career high in assists on Saturday. But could you talk about her development over the year so far? I think the week where you had 2 losses seemed like she took it pretty hard and struggled a little bit. But this week had to make an adjustment against CSUN, and a pretty major one, being able to find their weakness in the block. How has she developed?
Yeah, well, I think there's an article on her, and we've talked about it a few times. But yeah, I think Xena's made as much improvement in kind of back to your question, in terms of not being too low on the losses or too low on the bad practice or whatever the case may be. I think a lot of high achievers like Xena, high motors like Xena, can really struggle with that. And I've coached a lot of them over the years. Two people that I reference with Xena all the time is TJ DeFalco and April Ross. I coached April for 7-8 years and TJ for, I don't know, feel like my whole life. So they have high motors, high drive, and it's hard to deal with perceived failure. So being able to recognize what's perceived failure and what is something that's maybe we're failing at to get better at with Xena, she's growing in that area. I can't even, it's hard to explain here in the interview, like where she's grown from the time she got here till now in that area. So I think she handled it pretty well. She was a little hard on herself maybe that last week, but way different than, even earlier in the after we lost to Oregon, which was a great match, and we had a chance to win on a side out. she came back on Monday and was like, "Oh, I stink and I'm not any good, this and that." And then she gets freshman and setter of the week. I was like, "Yeah, you're right, Xena, you're terrible." So even from there, to last week, which was 2 harder losses for sure, Fullerton and Hawaii, she handled it pretty well. I think she's grown a lot, and she's learning how to be freed up on offense, and she's learning how to be a more resilient setter in terms of like not too high, not too low, and be able to set the offense and trust the offense and trust what she's doing. And she's really she's grown a lot.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.